I'm Dana Hahn-Klein here with Jeremy Jasper and Danielle McDonald for Patty Cakes.
Did both of you have supportive parents?
Yes.
Yes.
We both do, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's why we're able to do this.
But it was just, I feel like so much of the story kind of centered around a challenging relationship.
Yeah, I have been around a lot. I've been close with people, very close with people who had like very challenging relationships with their parents, especially mother-daughter relationships. And like when you're that person's person, like you absorb, it becomes your life too.
Yeah.
Yes, and so like from a pretty young age, like I was around those relationships a lot, and you know when they're not your relationships, you're able to like kind of sit back and observe how they these little battles that are happening every night around the dinner table, and so I was able to draw on all those things for Patty and Barb.
I'm the exact same way. I had very supportive parents. I'm very lucky with that. But I've had friends that have had more challenging relationships with their parents. Like there was a lot of love, but a lot of challenges, kind of exactly like Bob and Patty. So I've definitely been on the outside seeing it. And like you said, when you're that friend that hears everything, you almost get a whole other viewpoint into the relationship like that. So I feel like sometimes, and not in a bad way, I feel like I'm sometimes like my friend's therapist in a way. Like I said, not in a bad way, but I was kind of always the person that people would come to talk about things. So I feel like I've had a lot of experiences through other people, which is hilarious, but yeah.
So because that dynamic was so important to the film, what was the casting process of bringing like the three of you together, like the three of them together?
Yeah.
Was it piece by piece?
Piece by piece. And so, I mean, I had an idea of who they were in my mind because they were people that I grew up with, and like I knew if they felt authentic or not, these characters. And so, Danielle came first. Well, actually, the first person I saw was probably Sid, Don, and Jay, but that's another story. And then I kind of filed that one back. But then I saw, so Danielle first, and then it was like, okay, we have Danielle. And then I saw Bridget on Inside Amy Schumer, and I was like, I'd been looking for a Barb, and it's just, she was really hard to find. I was like, that's Barb. It was just the same thing with Danielle. I didn't know if she could act. I didn't know if she would want to act, but like I was going to figure out a way to get her. And then so the two of them were together, and that they looked. I remember taking their photos and putting them next to each other, and they looked like they could be related. And I was sending them to the producers. I was like, look, because it drives me crazy when siblings or mothers and daughters or father and sons don't look alike.
Like they're from the same family, yeah.
Which like
sometimes the story calls for it.
know.
I've been in a position where I don't look like my mom's before.
I understand it.
Yeah.
But for this, because they were going to be this family, and because the film is about the possibility of Patty becoming Barb, it was really important that they looked similar, like that there was a family resemblance. It didn't matter that Bridget is Jewish and from Kansas, and you're not and from Australia. But then you bring in, so I had them, the mother and daughter, and then it was like, okay, well, who's going to be the matriarch here? Who's going to like put everybody in their place? And then I had met Kathy. I met Kathy after the labs, and then I knew I wanted her to be Nana, and it was going to take some convincing. But yeah.
Do you remember like first meeting your new fake family, your on-screen family? Like were you immediately like, I get it?
I actually do. I'd seen a photo of Bridget before I met her because I knew she was coming to the Sundance Labs, and Jeremy had showed me. Because I had already been at the labs with Jeremy for a week and a half before Bridget came. Yeah. And so Jeremy had showed me a photo of her, and he told me she's like this cabaret comedian. I was like, okay. And then the first thing I did was sit down with her, and we were doing like this very heavy dramatic scene. So I was like, what do you mean she's a comedian? This is like a hard-hitting dramatic actress.
Yeah.
But she was amazing. She was actually really shy the first time I met her because she was brand new to the labs, and I'd already been there a week and a half, so I knew everyone. She didn't know anyone yet. So we sat down, and I just remember, I think I just started talking at her. I was like, okay, so this, and this. And I'm usually quite shy when I first meet people, but for some
In
reason,
your zone.
I'd been there and I was like, okay, like let's talk. She was great though. She was so lovely. And Kathy, I remember I was on crutches at the time. I almost broke my ankle before we started production, which was really bad, but it was just a bad sprain, so it was fine. Just hurt throughout the entire thing, but it's fine. And then I hobbled in and Kathy just like grabbed me.
Oh, I love you. You're beautiful. Like it was like we went to lunch and I was like, oh, I hope this goes well. And like as soon as you met,
my
she was
God.
like, oh, look at your hair. You're gorgeous. Oh, and like she just like
man.
she like
She just
took her
grabbed
in.
me,
Yeah.
but like and
that's
squeezed
Kathy
so
style.
hard. I was like, oh, this feels like my family hugging me.
Yes, exactly.
And that was that.
That's the Kathy
It's
vibe.
that easy.
Yeah.
Is there like a moment of tension for you where you're like, please get along?
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
He looked
yes.
terrified.
I was really nervous. I was really, really nervous that like, you know, Kathy was the one actress in the film that like actually had experience, like had been around the block, like had like 30 years of working on big films. And I, you know, we were this tiny little, you know, garage band, and asking her to come on this film with no trailers and like, you know, with these kids and like I didn't know what her attitude was going to be like. I didn't know if she was going to be high maintenance or
not at
or
all.
difficult or you know. I just knew that like I did not want to cross her. You know, I didn't want to get on her bad side. So yeah, I was nervous with her meeting, and then it couldn't have gone better. And you know, she's just got a heart of gold, and she's just like
She does.
all-
She's a badass, but like with a heart of gold.
yeah.
Yeah, literally, it's gold.
Gold chain.
Literally.
Are the labs just like art camp on roids? Like,
Yes.
they
Yeah,
sound,
totally.
like,
That's the best
so
way to
intense.
describe it.
It's really, really intense. There's a lot of tears. People, because it's like it's very concentrated, and you're not. There's no outside. You completely shut off from the outside world, so you really have no.
Like no cell reception.
Yeah.
Kind of shut off. Oh,
yeah, and you never leave the compound.
Yeah.
So there's
Sounds
it's
like a cult
Survivor,
right now, I
Survivor,
know.
yeah. But it's like, but it's it's really it's like it's very utopian, and you know your heroes are there and they're critiquing your work, and you know you're there with strangers and you're trying to figure out what your film is really about, and you're trying to like figure out how to be a director. So it's this amazing combination of being incredibly intense and incredibly supportive. Yeah, and we had a really good run there.
It
People
was
were
one of the
pumped.
best experiences I've had for sure.
Yeah.
I never got to do camp as a kid, and I was like,
Yeah, same
oh,
with me.
what?
Right,
This is
that's what it was like.
It was amazing because you're just everyone's in it together. Everyone's a volunteer. Everyone's passionate about what they want to do. Everyone eats together like every meal. Every single night after you've been working all day, there is either a screening or a script reading. So it was constant. Like there was always something to do.
And it's like you're there. Everybody's there for the right reason. It's not like they're like, okay, this is how we're gonna make your film like much more sellable, so that you can like, get a star attached, or like, you know, we should take out all of these swear words because then you can get a PG-13. You know, like I don't know. It was about like, is this really the story that you want to tell? How can you go deeper? Like, how can it feel more real? Like, how do you figure this stuff out? So yeah, it's pretty heady stuff. But it has like a cult-like religious.
In a good way, though.
In a good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
exactly.
I know,
exactly.
right?
Put that on the pamphlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good cult.
It's the best type. Okay, so I'm curious, going back to it, I think it's also an important plot point, but like you have the opportunity to meet your heroes there, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then Patty meets her hero, and it doesn't always work out the way we
Right,
want to. So
right.
either of you had an experience where you've met someone, and you don't have to say who, but just like where you met someone who you admired, and it doesn't even have to be like a famous hero, and it let you down. And what did you like? How'd you grow from that?
Yeah, I mean, I made a video with someone, a music video for someone who I really was like a major hero and inspiration for me, and it could not have gone worse. Could not have gone worse, and it almost made me quit being a director because it was just like I felt out of control. Like it was a bad experience. You know, where someone came in and kind of took over what you didn't trust you to do what you do, and kind of took over a set and you feel just like, wait, this is like what I've been working on. This is my place, and they just like wipe the floor with you, and because they're famous, they have all this clout, and it was really disheartening, and it kind of it took me out of directing for a while, like, and then I had the opposite experience where the first short that I got to make and work with like a real actor was with Harvey Keitel, who's one of my all-time favorite actors, like all time, and I like was so intimidated, and I was so ready for him to like eat me alive and like chew me up and like yell at me and like just go bad lieutenant on me.
To be Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, exactly.
You wanted him to be Harvey Keitel, is what you
like, I
wanted.
just thought that that's what he was going to be, and he was like such a pussycat, and he was just like such a loving guy. I mean, the first time I met him, he was in his trailer, he was in his underwear, like hanging out, and he just goes, Gasper, because he can never get my name right. That's why he always called me Gasper. It was a mix of Jeremy with the G and Jasper. And Gasper, I'm a zany guy. I like to do zany things. And then I was just like, I love you. I will follow you anywhere you want to go, Mr. Keitel. So that was the opposite experience. But yeah, I've had rough.
I'm totally asking you who that was, by the way,
I'll tell you
later,
Yeah.
off camera.
It wasn't like a fishing question. We've all had like,
I mean, you interview a lot of people. I mean, was it an
I've
interview?
had hostile witnesses.
Yeah.
This is where this question stems from. I've been there.
Yeah.
We all have those
Yeah, it's
moments.
always surprising. But that's show business, I guess.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's just like people are not. Yeah, I mean, people are going to be coming up to you thinking you're.
Patty?
Yeah.
I'm so
It's
not
true. Are you
Patty.
prepared for that though? That like people are gonna kind of
Just think that I am. I mean, after screenings, I've definitely had people after Q&As be like, what? Like, I thought that you were a rapper from Jersey, but you're not. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, sorry to disappoint. Like, yeah, I think sometimes people forget that it's acting. Which is funny. Yeah, so like if you're playing a really evil character, I wonder how that goes about, you know?
It's only one way to find out.
Yeah, right. I'm
Really
like,
evil
where's my evil character? I haven't really thought about it. I don't. Think about it.
Nobody, any heroes?
Oh, any heroes? I haven't had any heroes do that to me. No, I've definitely had people that I have respected or wanted to kind of, I guess, have like hear certain things from them. Not impressed, but I guess I wanted kind of like certain advice and definitely got the opposite. And I just think, okay, well, I don't need to know your opinion anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do what I want to do, which I think is kind of how you have to go, because if you hear something from someone that doesn't align with what you want to do, then you just don't listen to it and you do what you want to do, because if you don't try what you want to do, I mean, how do you get to where you are?
What do you both admire most about the character?
Her ability to never give up, and her confidence to fight back even when she's down. She has the balls to say things that I wish that I had the balls to say.
I would say the same thing for myself. I'm fairly, I'm a sensitive little flower, and I like, yeah. Could be a little. I wish I was could be as brash as Patty.
Me too. Like getting to do that rap battle was very cathartic to me, because I was like, man, there are some times where you just wish you could say that and I never would. And being able to actually do it and put it into something felt so good in a way. I was like, yeah, this feels awesome.
It very much came across, because that's, I was like, get it.
I know, it's like, you need to do it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. Felt good. I mean, yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Dan.
Oh, that's a reality. Yeah, that's why everyone says, like, what was the scariest scene to film? And it wasn't that. because it felt so good to like just do it. Like I'm really not like that. I'm kind of the same as you. I feel like we react the same sometimes with certain things, and that is not Patty. But I think that maybe you wrote that, and I felt that because it's like a side of us we wish we had.
But it was a challenging film to see. I like seeing the film. I feel like all of it just.
Yep, pretty much.
But it just seemed like a great experience and like
It
well
was.
put together
Definitely.
and
I mean, it was all an incredible experience. There were just definitely days that were harder than others. For one reason or another, I think mentally challenging was the final scene for me. Just the amount of people and the knowing that I had to be good. That was really scary for me. And I feel like at the beginning,
The house. I remember being in the house for a week and shooting all those scenes and feeling like we're going to lose our minds.
really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that being real. I mean, but every day had some
Yeah.
sort of
Challenge.
like on the edge of breakdown.
yeah. There was one day that was just so mentally exhausting, and I knew that we had to kind of get up early the next day and shoot. And I remember there was not one time I spoke to the producers about I need a second. And that was the one time I said to them, I can't get through today and then do this straight tomorrow. Like I need a second, otherwise I will not be able to do it. And they were great, and they were like, okay, I gotcha, because it was a lot. We were constantly working, and there was
Yeah, I don't know how
yeah.
you did it, Danielle, because we would do because we were such a small budget, because there were so many locations, we would show up at like the cemetery, and it was like, okay, we have half a day, or maybe we had a full day at the cemetery. So it's like, you do like the funeral first, which is like total mental
did the
breakdown.
funeral
Then it's
first.
Like, now it's like a funny scene at the cemetery. Now it's like a mysterious scene at the cemetery, and like they're all over the film, but like you have to shoot them
Yeah.
one after the next after
Yeah.
the next, and it makes you feel sort of schizophrenic.
It really
because-
does. Yeah, and then
you were really going there.
oh my god, and then,
emotionally and like
yeah.
that was a hard
But that's why the
day.
house was also hard, because like some of the scenes, I think the hardest emotional scene was at the house, which he cut. So you'll never see it. But I mean, I just remember like I was in this place and I was like, okay, and Jeremy just kept digging at me. He just kept like poking me, and he's like, deeper, 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 harder. And I was like, I got to a place where I
It was
remember.
like, okay, we're done, we got it.
Yeah, I was like,
There was
I
nowhere to
remember
it.
bawling my eyes out, and everyone's kind of, it was like 5 a.m. Everyone's kind of silent, and we finished the scene. Jeremy's like, hey, we got it. Let's just check the gate and make sure we got it. And so they're checking it, and I'm just in the corner like a little bit hysterical.
I think you said like, we could do another one.
I did say that.
It was like classic
Yeah,
Danielle. like,
and
"Can we do-
everyone
more?"
was just silent and like avoiding my eye contact, and I was like, I'm fine. And then I just remember walking outside, and the people outside didn't know what was going on inside, so they're just like, hey. And just turned away, and I was like, dude. And then I went and got changed, and I was like, okay, I'm good. It's acting. You get out of it, you get out of that headspace. And I came out like in my clothes, and I was like, what up, blah blah blah. And people were like, what? They're like, what do you? You feel schizophrenic sometimes, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely
it's the job.
It's the
It's the
job.
job.
tortured poor
All right,
Danielle.
I'm gonna ask 2 rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite childhood fictional hero or heroine?
Oh my god.
That's a good question.
This is meant to be rapid fire, but this is really difficult
I was
question.
probably Luke Skywalker for me. Yeah, deep into Luke.
I was really into the Harry Potter books, like very much so. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to be Hermione Granger. So maybe
You were Gryffindor. You wanted to be.
I actually, I think kind of was more Ravenclaw a little bit, but then again, so is Hermione. She's like part Gryffindor, part Ravenclaw. So there you go. I think I was like, yeah, I want to be Hermione Granger because she's a badass, but she's also smart. And she tells it like it
That's
is.
the heart of the story. Let's be honest.
She is. I love it.
All right, and living or dead, who's someone you'd like to collaborate with that you haven't already?
Oh, so many.
So many.
Tom Waits. Yeah, I'm writing next film for Tom Waits.
couldn't even begin to. God, there's so many people.
Let's pick one.
I really want to work with Octavia Spencer. I think she's such a badass. She does everything.
answer.
I kind of want her career.
Cool. Well, thank you both so much.
Thank
Congrats
you
on the
so much.
film.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.